Welcome back to Perkins Pipes. Very excited about this episode. Come on, I'm excited about all of them, but very excited about this one for two reasons. One, you're going to hear at the beginning of the video. The other, you're going to hear at the end. And don't be that person to skip ahead to the end and say, ooh, what's the second one about? Just check it out and see. But I can tell you that for both the parts of the video, the beginning and the end, it definitely seems that the Peterson Professor is the right way to go. We're going to be talking about some education stuff here today. I absolutely love the Peterson Professor. It's just as I was loading this up with the good old Prince Albert here, I just was thinking about this and why I enjoy this pipe so much. I do enjoy the draw of it very, very much, but I like a good big bowl in the hand. I like something big that I can get my fist around, but also I like a longer smoke. When I sit down to enjoy it, I only smoke one bowl at a time on any given day and do not necessarily smoke every day. But I like something that's going to last a little bit longer. So that's why I like this one so much. So, as always, let's get this guy lit. Let's get to talking. I don't know if you can hear the birds in the background. It's very pretty sounds. And if you can see over my shoulder here, I'm going to kind of scooch down a little bit. I got this beautiful, beautiful tree behind us here in our yard. And fall in Indiana, my friend. Autumn in the Midwest. Doesn't get much better than that. So we start off with a response to a viewer comment on a video from quite a while back. Remember when I had the giveaway for the 1,000th, once we hit 1,000 subscribers on the channel? So we had that, and I announced the giveaway. Or rather, who won the giveaway. And on that video, had a fellow here, and I apologize, Sean, if I'm not getting your name correct, but the screen name looks like Sean High 6192. And Sean had this to say. He says, nice pizza at the end, very moving. I'm drawn to your channel because of the variety, pipes obviously, classics, literature, Christianity, views on the world and life, and rock music. Quite the mix. Now, let me just stop there and say, thank you for that. I love the eclectic nature of this channel. It's because I enjoy eclectic topics and just, getting into all kinds of things with people and all of those things that you named there. Pipes, obviously. Classics, right? The Latin and Greek stuff, literature, Christianity, all that kind of stuff. Rock music, I love it all, right? It's great. But here's why I'm responding to this in a video. He goes on to say, whilst I admire your enthusiasm for the education system, it does not suit everyone. There's little room for free thinkers or individualism. I live in the UK. I didn't go to university. My wife did. We have 4 children. Only one went to university/college. However, they are all successful and very happy in their own right. There are many reasons why school can be a struggle for young people. I myself am dyslexic, and this was not discovered until adulthood. Falling far behind your classmates and not understanding why can have lifelong implications. Anyway, please keep up the good work. I really enjoy listening to your channel. Wow. I can't thank you enough, Sean, for that comment. I appreciate you your sharing a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your family there. And you say something in there that I completely agree with, as would my wife. I know. We've had this conversation many times. And my wife is an educator as well. She has taught at the middle school level. She's been middle school principal. She's taught at the high school level. She's then gone back taught elementary level. Currently, she teaches high school Latin, as do I, but at a different place. That's actually a hybrid school that meets 2 days a week on campus, 3 days a week at home. So it's kind of a hybrid homeschool kind of deal. And she's actually the head of that school, as well as teaching Latin there. And we would both agree with something you said. In fact, I can't. I'm going to pull that back up here. It doesn't suit everyone. School doesn't suit everyone. That's absolutely right. Education does. And that's the first thing I'd like to say. There's a difference between schooling and education. Right? Just like there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. But your head can be crammed full of facts, right? So there's knowledge, but do you know what to do with any of it? That's wisdom. Far too often we confuse or conflate the words school with education. School or schooling, formal schooling, that's but one way to gain an education. Many people are self-taught, whether through reading books, going online, looking at videos, whether it's how to pack a pipe, how to make a pipe, to learning truly anything else. You can learn from conversations with people, especially elders. People have gone on before you. It could be people who are younger than you. You learn from their questions. Sometimes you learn from their answers. So I would agree 100%. Schooling is not for everyone. It may be your personality, just the way you're wired. You're more of a hands-on kind of person. You're more energetic. You need to be up and doing things. And let's be honest, schooling doesn't suit that very well. There has to be a certain amount of control within a school building, whether you've got 500 students or 5,000. You just can't have everybody up running around willy-nilly. There's safety issues and so forth. So there is a necessary aspect of control in a school, which is why I think so many people, especially over the last, I would say, really over the last 40 years, but especially over the last 20, and then even more so over the last 5, have approached and embraced homeschooling, right? An alternative model to the, and really we should call it home education, but homeschooling as opposed to the more traditional, you send your child off to some other place. And because we've realized one size fits all does not work when it comes to education. And I don't know if I've mentioned it on here or not, but a metaphor that I often use, I've used this many times in speaking and in writing. The modern model of schooling, especially I'm thinking secondary now, that sees, here's your algebra class, bell rings, move to art class, bell rings, move to your Latin class, bell rings, move to your history class. Does that sound familiar to anybody? It's the Industrial Revolution, folks. That's what it is. It's the assembly line model, which is great for building a car. But my contention is that you do not assemble a human mind the way you assemble a Chevy. Those are two totally different enterprises. So I would agree with that. Schooling is not for everyone, although, indeed, I think education is. And then Sean goes on to say, there's little room for free thinkers or individualism. And Sean, to this I have to say, that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart. We're not going to go down the road of individualism versus corporate, and I don't mean corporate as in a corporation, but corporate as a full body, learning and so forth. And I think sometimes some of our individual whims and so forth need to be curtailed. But on the whole, that breaks my heart, and you're not wrong. I've heard too many students say that their schooling experience killed their love for a particular subject. Maybe it killed their love for English, or it killed their love for mathematics, or whatever. And that's sad. That breaks my heart. And especially, I will say, here in the United States, when there has been this ludicrous worship at the false idol of test scores and standardized testing. It's just, it's bananas. So this is why, again, I'm a champion of all kinds of models of education, right? Whether it's homeschooling, traditional state-sponsored, tax-paid-for, what we call public schooling. At least here in the United States, we call it that. Private schooling, hybrid schools. There's so many different models. And I do think it's important to find the one that is right for your child if you're responsible for a young person. And certainly as you grow up and go along in life, you know what works for you. And so you know, hey, this is good for me. This over here, I don't want any piece of that. I'm not a big fan of online stuff, although for some things I am. Right? When I need to tie a bow tie once a year, you may remember that episode. I was wearing a tuxedo, and I said I wear a bow tie once a year for a particular event. I have to go to YouTube every time to figure out how to tie a bow tie again. That's not how I want to process literature. That's not how I want to process theology or philosophy or history or whatever. So I would agree. But I do think there are ways around that. And then Sean says this. Let's back up one more time. He says there are many reasons why school can be a struggle for young people. And he mentions dyslexia, and then this is again a heartbreaking statement. Falling far behind your classmates and not understanding why can have lifelong implications. What are the things that makes mental anything so difficult to deal with? Mental health, our emotions, our intellect, how we learn. What makes all that so difficult to assess and understand and process is that it's not visible. I see you with a broken leg. I do not expect you to run a 100-meter dash. I see that you are blind. I do not expect you to read a non-braille text. I understand that you are deaf, and I don't expect that you are going to pick up on audible communication. But when it's up here, I think there's always the suspicion that people are lying. People are lying. They're trying to get by with something. How do I know that you really don't understand it? How do I know you're not just lazy? How do I know you're really going through a hard time and are not just trying to get out of doing X, Y, or Z at work? That's why I think we have such a hard time dealing with mental health, dealing with spiritual issues, and certainly dealing with learning. All I can say is, if any of you out there are teachers, any of you are out there who regularly interact with young people, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles. I'm talking to you. Folks, the wrong word, and you go, well, I don't have to be walking on eggshells with children all the time. No, but at the same time, you got a responsibility, right? You're talking with young people here. And a harsh word, one harsh word, is like napalm on the soul of a child. Whereas an encouraging word, truly, it's like sunshine. It's the sunshine that makes things grow. What I look for in a class, in terms of success, is the success of the teacher. Is the teacher doing well? Success of the students. I'm not looking at test scores. Maybe a little bit. Maybe that's a small portion. What I'm really looking for is life. It's what's going on in that classroom or that learning environment. Again, may not be a classroom, but does it engender life? Does it foster the ongoing growth of life? And I'm telling you, a kind word, a good word, the word of encouragement can do that. And a harsh word, what's wrong with you? How come you haven't got this? We've been over this and over this. Ooh, friends, that's like napalm on the soul. Don't do it. Don't do it. And a special word, I'm sorry here, but I'm going to call out some grandparents. I'm stopping teaching and commencing to preaching, as they say. If your adult children are struggling to raise their children, you're the grandparent, you might need to speak into that situation. You might need to say, hey, hold on, let's take a break here. You might come around and support your adult children who are parents then themselves. Because they get tired, right? And you get frustrated. And, how come you can't get this? And certainly, friends, if you're teachers, come on. You should know better. You should know better. You've answered this call. So, thank you, Sean, for that email. So grateful for that. And now for the other reason I'm excited to bring out the professor. Something I'm going to talk about, but not in this video. Folks, the next video coming out after you see this one, I am going to be talking about my brand new book. My latest book is about to come out in December, and the next episode is going to be all about it. I can't wait to talk to you about it. I am so stinking excited about this. It is a book about education, and I am super, super thrilled about it. So, folks, please make sure you tune back in. It's going to be the very next video that comes out. And, man, share this with your friends. Tell your friends, hey, you got to get on Perkins Pipes because you do not want to miss this next episode. Friends, as Malcolm Guite likes to say, I do these little things in order at last to do nothing. Or as I like to say in Latin, Parva ut tandem, nihil agam. Have a wonderful day.
There was a man who walked the earth.